This is an overview of your Sketchbook Assignment 3 for drawing class, drawing a chair in negative space. It should be labeled as Exercise 15. There's a little PDF on your Google Classroom document that has all your sketchbook assignments, okay? So for this one, the challenge is to draw a chair using the negative shapes, or the shapes that are not the chair. So when we're talking about negative shapes, the negative shapes are actually the white areas, okay, or the space where the chair is not, okay? We are always so trained in life to draw just the positive or the object, and sometimes, in fact often, the negative space is more informative than the positive space, especially if we are confused about what we're drawing, okay? So with this project, you might want to use a graphite stick, and the first thing I'm going to do is tone the space, okay? This is the same thing that the packet tells you to do, okay? Toning it again is just creating a solid value, whatever your value is that you choose, whether it's medium or dark gray, okay? So that's what I'm going to do here first, is just tone, and notice I'm not using the entire space of my paper with drawing a chair using negative shapes. It's actually easier to pick a smaller space to deal with on your paper, okay? So I'm going to try and get this a little bit more solid here. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and give myself a border because that's going to also help me here as I'm drawing in the negative shapes. Okay, if you really want it to be a little more solid, you can take your blending stump and try to create that more smoothed in value, okay? That's what I'm gonna do here. It's about like a 6 by 8 inch box so that my chair drawing is not too small but not too big, so that I have enough space to work with in here. Okay, so once you have toned your paper, you need to look at your directions on your packet, and what you want to do after that is create crosshairs or just basically some guidelines. It's almost like a simple grid, just like what we've been working with on our current project. That's going to help you to plot the different negative shapes, okay? So now that I have my crosshairs and I have my negative shapes, I'm going to look over here, and what we're doing now is we're going to start with the negative shapes, and we're going to pull away the pigment using our moldable eraser of the negative shape of the chair, starting with the kind of center of the chair, okay? So for example, this shape right here, this shape right here. Finally, I'll move to more detailed shapes on the inside, okay? This is just another way of teaching your brain how to create and how to use those negative shapes that we often ignore, okay? You can use the moldable eraser if you want. You could go ahead and use just the end of a regular eraser, okay? So I'm trying to recreate the shape that I see in this little chair, okay? So kind of like that, okay? So I'm creating this shape here, and I'm following it here. It is trickier for your brain because you want to draw the chair. Your mind does not want to draw the negative spaces. It sees those as emptiness, okay? But also when you're doing a grid drawing, sometimes if you can't tell what something is by looking at what the shape is, you have to look and see what the shape isn't, or in other words, the negative spaces that are around that shape, okay? So here I am mimicking this shape right here, okay? Now I'm going to try and create this outside shape here. So I'm watching this area, okay, to get the edge of my chair. So that's why you want to have your crosshairs in there, okay? I'm going to go all the way up. Again, trying to watch what that negative shape is. Kind of crosses out, goes back over, dips back up. Okay, so now I can start to see where that edge of the chair back is. I'm going to go ahead and erase all of my pigment that is within that negative shape there, okay? So it's definitely something different, so just be patient with yourself. Okay, so here's what I have here. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking I could have maybe toned my paper a little bit more. Okay, there's nothing wrong with going back in and darkening your edge if you think you need to, so that you can see your negative shape and your boundaries a little bit. So I'm going to go back in here and just kind of highlight that edge there. Okay, and same thing here. But the point is that I went in with my eraser to remove it to create that negative shape first. Okay, so there we're getting that first little part of the chair there. Now I'm going to continue to move across the image. Okay, so we have that rounded little part of the chair, have another interesting little negative shape here. So now I'm getting the top of the chair back. Okay, I'm going to watch for that negative shape. Okay, and it's interesting, you'll notice how the chair is going to start to appear as you erase. Okay, you can also, like I said, use the moldable eraser if you prefer. Whatever works for you on this face. So I'm working on getting the leg of the chair now. Okay, I'm going to go in and erase everything in the background so that it is white, and my chair is in that toned sort of gray. Okay, watching for that negative space between the chair leg. Fun little negative shape there. Okay, so you're going to work your way around doing this until you have the entire chair drawn. Okay, and like I said, if you need to go back in and kind of re-highlight some of your edges, that's fine. But you first want to sculpt them by watching that negative shape and pulling away the value there. Okay, so this is my fun little negative shape right here, which is the shape of that first leg of the chair. Okay, and I can see I actually could almost bring my box down a little farther. I'm actually a little short on my space vertically, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more toning down here so that my chair is in the right proportions. Okay, so that's fine. I mean, you have to adjust things. This is a sketchbook assignment. It's something we are learning together. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more of value space down here so that I have enough room to create that second leg that's in the front of my chair. Okay, so it's right coming out here and it's going down here. So I have a little more space. All right, and now I'm going to continue working with that negative shape here. Now I'm going to work on the front side of the chair. All right, so tone your paper, draw your crosshairs, okay? Then start going in and erasing where you see the negative shapes or the white areas of your chair, okay? So I erased everything here to leave the tone that I put down for the chair. I erased everything in here to leave the tone. So if it's white, you're going to erase it, okay? The areas that are black are the areas you leave, okay? All right, thank you guys.